2, 1, go.
All right. Hey, this is the Nerdy News. I'm your host, Russ Rollins, with Jeff Kaufman and also Ryan Holmes. Jeff knows almost everything there is to know about nerdy stuff, the owner of BigCityComics.com, and Kaufman and Lynn. What's up, Jeff?
I'm feeling ridiculously good because it's strange. I've been hit up by a lot of people about the podcast over the last 3 weeks, and I thought it was just you and I screwing around. I didn't know people actually listen.
People are listening and it's starting to spread, which is really, really good. And so if you do listen to our podcast and you love it and you dig it, tell a friend and spread the word. We sure do appreciate it. We're talking to you today, and today is National Comic Book Day.
Woo! And happy birthday to comic books.
And I know everybody here was affected by comic books one way or the other. And I know, Ryan Holmes, you when you were a kid, it was something you did in order to kind of like
I lived in a crappy trailer in a crappy trailer park, and it was and that was my way of escaping that moment.
Yeah. A little closer.
Oh,
couldn't hear you there.
I couldn't tell if you were telling me I had something in my beard or what.
No,
I mean, it's strange. Comic book is an escape for a lot of people. It's an escape for kids who are bullied. It's escape to people in the army who need that break from the military.
Yeah.
It's escape from people who live in double wides or single wides or quarter wides or.
And when I was a kid,
I guess
I'd say when I was a kid, but like even now, I don't really read very well. But when I was a kid, I really didn't. But I would try to read comic books because it did have pictures to go along with it, and I knew what the story was, and it made me want to read more. So I mean, and I collected comic books, but at the time, it was one of those things where it's not like you told your friends that you had comic books because some people would goof on you, because you're reading the funny papers.
Yeah, no, yeah. When I was a kid, it wasn't full on accepted. It was like me and my two friends. We would talk about it sometimes, but it definitely was not mainstream by any means.
Now, Jeff, who do you think the king of the geeks are? And I'm talking even people who have died, not Stan Lee, but I mean just somebody who you think would be the king of the geeks, the ultimate geek guy that everyone worshipped through the better part of the last 20, 30 years.
Kevin Smith.
Okay, a little more. What about your iPad, your iPhone?
What, Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs is a nerd.
Okay. So he's a nerd, a geek, whatever.
But yeah, I guess more geek, whatever the tech geek is. Yeah.
Never read a comic book.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And never played a video game.
Yeah, he's probably too smart for all that.
There's because nerd is like you like comic books, you like nerd culture. Geek is like you're super into tech.
Yeah.
Really? You think that? Yeah. You think you're limited?
I think it's a different kind of mentality a lot of the times. I mean, like I definitely have people that cross into both worlds, but they're like when you're a nerd, when you're like a geeky guy and you like the tech kind of stuff, you go hard into that world, and that world takes a lot of studying too. So you don't have time to read the comic books.
I mean, he was actually when he was on the board at Disney, and they were trying to make the decision whether to buy Marvel Comics or not. And they had just acquired Pixar and everything. And they went to him, and Iger asked him, he goes, "So what do you think?" And he goes, "I don't know. I've never read a comic in my life. I'm not into it. I'm not into video games." And it's so strange that the guy who basically created was involved in the creation of the iPhone and the iPad, which now most people play their video games on.
Yeah.
That is right now, your phone is the number one platform to play games on over PlayStations, Xboxes, and everything. It's amazing.
What did a comic book cost when you were a kid to buy comic books? Do you remember?
I remember 20 cents.
Yeah, I remember it'd be 25 cents, 50 cents. When it got to 70, when it got to 70,
super bulk. So.
When it got to 75 cents, I'm like, oh, they're getting expensive. And what does a comic book cost now?
Oh, you don't even want to know.
Yeah, I mean
$3.95.
Yeah, okay. If you go into the store, you get
$3.95. So imagine when I first picked up my comic book, it was 20 cents.
Yeah.
Now it's $3.95. So let's say an increase of 5 times 4, it's a 2,000% increase.
Yeah.
That's I mean, it's amazing how prices go up, but milk has not gone up that much.
Right.
Gasoline has not gone up.
Yeah.
But the cost of a printed comic book has gone up.
And now the comic book world, I mean, it makes billions and billions of dollars. It's like the hottest thing. Do you think this has got a shelf life, or do you think that it's going to cap out at some point?
We want our heroes.
So you think this is something that's now going to be around forever and will always make $1 billion when the comic book movie comes out?
I'm not saying all the movies, but you're going to have your blockbuster superhero movies the same way you're going to have your blockbuster fantasy movies. Like they're going to fill in for Lord of the Rings. I mean, look right now, Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
it's a fantasy.
Yeah,
people want to leave their lives, and comic books and different novels and stuff like that allow us to do that.
Right,
and it's just amazing to me that people have gotten that deep into things. I mean,
And
I'm glad that I'm finally trendy.
I never realized how big of a deal it was until I started going to the comic book conventions with you, and you see the people showing up there, and they're really super into it, and they love it so much. So it's a cool world to be a part of it. And by the way, if you haven't gotten a copy of our comic book, Jolly Jane, you can get it by going to bigcitycomics.com. And we're almost ready for the
issue 5 has been lettered. So what I'm hoping to do on that one is we got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And the decisions are a little tougher because we're going to have issues 1 through 4 of volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we've basically sold out of the regular issues of all the books. I mean, there's still some of the variants available, but I mean, that's a pretty ridiculous thing to sell out on that level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm very proud of that. I think people, Jolly Jane isn't your typical hero. She's your anti-hero. You're talking about a serial killer who has a second chance on life, and people are interested in what she's going to do. And I think that's the point of it all. I think that's where we're going to segue into our next topic, is dealing with the Joker movie.
Yes.
I mean, our book is about Jolly Jane. People love it. I've done books about everything, but Jolly Jane seems to have grabbed people's, attention. Ooh, what's this about? It's a woman who kills a lot of people. Oh, I'm excited. Why would you be excited about a female serial killer?
Well, she's attractive, and she has snarky lines, and I think the lines and the snarky, funny lines, it's kind of what draws people to Jolly Jane, just like Joker. The reason people like the Joker is, smart-ass lines, kind of funny, but yet, a freaking crazy serial killer, and that comedy angle of it, and the complete craziness has always made Joker probably the biggest villain in all of comic books, wouldn't you say?
I would say if you have your top 5 villains, let's do top 5 before we get on. You got Joker, you got Lex Luthor, you got the Green Goblin.
Number 3.
Now it gets a little hard as we go on. Maybe the Penguin, which, believe it or not, Jonah Hill is going to play the Penguin after he lost all this weight.
Oh, that's true.
We need fat Jonah to play the Penguin.
That's a good point.
And now he's thin Jonah, so unless they do the Danny DeVito suit on him, he's going to look pretty thin to be the Penguin.
Here's the thing. Here's what I know about fat guys. It's easy to get fat again. He can do it and then lose the weight. I'm sure he can, gain it, and he'll be a great Penguin.
But what's amazing is that the actor who played in Gotham, who played the Penguin,
yes, he played him thin,
but he was fantastic. I think Jonah Hill could pull it off. I think he's going to pull off more of a classic Joker than the Joker Penguin who played in Gotham, the actor who was so fantastic. Who I think that his take on it was the most creative take. I mean, Danny DeVito goes, okay, I'm going to go a little animal with it.
Yeah.
But I think Burgess Meredith, from the old shows was real good. But I think that the TV character, I forgot the actor's name, is fantastic.
Yes, we interviewed him actually, and he was great when we interviewed him. I can't remember his name right now at all, but if you haven't seen Gotham and you're a nerd, you definitely need to check it out because it's a great series. But it's not better than Titans, which is you turned me on to, and it's my favorite comic book television show.
Titans is the most well done superhero show ever created.
I think so.
And when I say it that way, I combine a lot of things. I combine the amount of money they have to spend, the limitations they have, and so which means that it's just fantastic writing and fantastic acting.
It looks like they have a lot. I think it looks like a big budget thing. I mean,
but it isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't. It's like a Netflix show. They're spending probably less money than Marvel did on Daredevil and things like that. But I mean, they're allowing these characters to run. And a lot of times, like Warner Brothers and Marvel, which is now Disney, they clamp down on their characters. They're very, like, for example, like Star Wars. Like, they used to have Mickey dressed as Luke Skywalker. Now they've pulled all that because somebody decided, oh, it's so bad to see Luke Skywalker as Mickey Mouse. You have sold millions of it, and you're introducing Luke Skywalker to 4-year-olds who now, I'm into Star Wars now because Mickey wore Star Wars. And anytime you decide to curb a character solely because there's some guy in your license department who decides, I don't like this, it's one person who's keeping this character away from millions.
Right.
And I think that's a mistake.
Hey, Ryan, if you had a chance to watch Titans, you would love it. I really think you would.
I mean, the way you talk about it, if you're saying it's better than Gotham.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. So Titans is the same characters. It's going to be Raven, Beast Boy,
it's Raven,
Cyborg.
Beast Boy. You got Robin. And it's really based on
Jason Todd, who is the second Robin, and Dick Grayson are on the same team.
So he's going to end up becoming
Red Hood.
Nightwing, no. I mean,
Dick Grayson is going to be Nightwing, and Jason Todd is eventually going to be the vigilante Red Hood in the comic books.
Yeah.
So you wonder how quickly Jason Todd is going to move out of the Robin character. You're going to see that movement where it wouldn't surprise me in, let's say, a couple issues, Jason Todd actually kills somebody and has to pretend he didn't and is hiding it because it was a better option.
Oh, because he beat the hell out of someone last week.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He was kicking the crap out of Dr. Light, just like pounding him.
Yeah.
And in the background, Slade Wilson was standing there, and you're going, he can't kick Slade Wilson's ass. I mean, that's you're talking, which that Slade Wilson is I don't know if you know the history of Deadpool. You know Deadpool's name?
It's Deadshot, right?
Well, you know who Deadpool is. The movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Deadpool, but Deadpool and Deadshot are two different things.
Yes, but Deadpool is a ripoff of Slade Wilson.
Yeah, they look the same. Yeah.
Well, what is Ryan Reynolds' character's name in Deadpool? His regular name?
I forget.
Wade Wilson.
His name's Wade Wilson.
Oh,
this is Slade Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Their costumes are so similar. They were both mercenaries. They were both this, and even Rob admits it. Rob Liefeld, who created it,
right.
He's admitted it, and it's such a joke. Slade, it'd be like going Reaper Parker.
Yeah,
that's not Peter Parker. That's Reaper Parker.
Right.
And that's basically what happened. But this character, Deathstroke he's bad news. That's why all the Titans are scared of him. They're all going, I don't want him coming to the house anymore.
Yeah.
You imagine to scare these powered people with somebody who doesn't really have powers. He's just really destructive.
He's a killer.
He's a killer.
So talking about killers and what's making the news now is the movie Joker comes out in a week. When we're doing this podcast right now, it's a week before Joker comes out, and all the news is about there are people that are protesting. And the people I saw on the news, can I tell you, I don't blame them. Their daughter was killed by a guy that dressed like the Joker and killed a bunch of people at Aurora movie theater for the opening of Batman. Which one was it? Dark Knight Rises. Yep. So I get it. Why they would be upset and they would say nobody should watch. I understand. They have a personal,
and I get that. And for the families there, I really feel bad for you.
Yeah.
As I said last week, there's a movie called Jojo Rabbit, where Hitler is basically this kid's imaginary friend. As a Jew, I really don't want to see Hitler anymore.
Whose idea was to make a movie where,
and believe it or not, nobody said a word about it. Everyone's good with it.
But also, no, nobody's good with it because nobody knows the movie.
Nobody's complaining. No, this movie has gone through major. It's potentially an Oscar nominee.
Really?
And they're doing it and they're going, oh, no, we're doing it for this reason. Hey, listen, I got to be straight with you. As a Jew, every time I see Hitler, I go, I don't like that.
Right.
Unless Hitler is getting brutally like gang raped by the Hulk, I'm not going to feel too good about it.
But as a Jewish person, would you want to send a letter and tell them they can't release that movie?
No. As an American citizen.
Yeah.
As an American citizen and somebody who understands the Constitution is very important. People always talk about their First Amendment rights when it involves their opinion.
Yeah.
They never talk about First Amendment rights when it affects, hey, listen, they can do this because they have a right to.
Yeah.
It's always, I have a right to. It's not they have a right to. You ever notice that they want to use the First Amendment as a weapon, but not understanding that it's a blanket for all of us?
You got the right to either go to the movie or not. If you don't want to download it, if you don't want to watch it, you don't watch it. And if enough people don't watch it, they won't make the movies like that because they don't make money. It's all about money.
I've talked about The Bachelor before and The Bachelorette, and I think about how offensive that show is to basically our children and everything else when you're going, okay, go after this one, 30 women, go after one guy they don't know.
Yeah.
To try to, he has no job, no nothing, but your whole self-worth is going to be based on you getting this man. And they're going to have sex with this guy. They're going to do everything with him that they probably wouldn't do in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But, it does so much negativity against the women that exist. And I think it damages our society. But you know what I do when it's on and my wife's watching it? I walk in the other room.
Go in the other room, yeah.
I walk in the other room and my daughter's in there and I wish my daughter didn't watch it. But you know what? My daughter has a right to watch it or not watch it.
See, I don't like anything Kardashian. I hate all Kardashian, everything. But if people want to watch it, that's their business. We rarely talk about them on the air because I don't like them. But it's.
And how bad for society is that to let people know that guess what? You can become famous and successful by just being abusive to each other.
Yeah.
That's what reality television is. It's the meaner, the nastier you are, the badder you are, worse you are a human being.
Well, that's
why you get paid so much.
That's why the Housewives, those TV shows are basically women, bitching at each other, yelling at each other, cheating on each other, whatever. And a lot of people watch it. A lot of people like it. So, that's their right to watch it.
I mean, I hooked you up with Ozark.
Love Ozark.
And, Ozark is basically about a criminal.
Yes.
I mean, it's a money launderer. Jason Bateman is basically laundering money for the mob, and he has to buy strip clubs and murderers and all this other stuff, and people die and everything else. And we watch it, even though we know there is not a single human being in that show that is a decent person. Even the kids. Even the kids are terrible.
Yeah.
The wife's terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone on screen is horrible.
But you like,
and we watch it because it's entertaining.
Well, it's the anti-hero. I mean, I think that started with the Sopranos, with Tony Soprano. That's the first anti-hero.
It's kind of funny, but it really didn't, because we still love villains. When the original Batman came out, not the original Batman, but the Michael Keaton Batman came out, and the Joker was so good, he stole that movie.
Yeah.
Jack took that movie and we're going, oh my God, he's so good.
I watched it last week because
Jack
it
was
Batman
a murderer.
Yeah.
And we're loving this character.
Yeah.
And I think the point is this, is that it's entertainment. And no matter how close it is to real life or whatever, unless they're going to put online the instructions on how to make a bomb and blow stuff up, you can't take that entertainment from people just because it bothers you.
So do you think it's going to hurt the movie, the attention?
No, I don't think
either.
It's going to hurt it.
I think it's just lets more people know that, I didn't know Joaquin Phoenix was going to be nominated for an Oscar for this.
It might hurt his Oscar chance, because Hollywood, when it comes to Oscars, can be very political. Like James Franco did a fantastic job in that movie. And because they brought up some issues dealing with him, of course, he doesn't win the Oscar.
But Joaquin Phoenix is just in a movie, and everyone that votes loves movies. So I don't think it's going to hurt him at all. I don't think it'll have anything to do with it. You thought it did, though, right?
Yeah, I think the Oscars is very politicized already, and I think having something like a movie that quote unquote supports this kind of behavior.
But everyone that will be voting has probably been in a movie that's done that. You know what? They're not going to be critical of him for something they've probably all done.
I don't know, when you can't even get what's his face, the comedian, to host the Oscars because of a thing.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
We're
very sensitive.
We're having problems right now, and I think the problems, and we only have problems when how can I say it? Not that people are angry, but that it's pushed by networks and things like that. I mean, if we really want to look like Saturday Night Live, you can pull up at least 50 of the most racist, disgusting, ethic issues possible if you go through it. Like, for example, John Belushi doing The Samurai.
Yeah.
I mean, that just made fun of Asian people. I mean, we can agree with that.
But it was hilarious.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy did a whole bit on Asian people. Chris Rock did a whole bit. And you're talking about, so we're not going to go see a Chris Rock movie anymore. We're not going to see this.
Who was it? It was Richard Pryor and somebody else. Who was it?
Honky. Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase, and they're going back with the N-word and honky, and I mean, but it was funny. It was hilarious.
I mean, the issue you're going to have: how vanilla does comedy have to become?
I worry about it in a different sense. I'm more worried about people do this. It's a version of control. And it's a version of like, if you don't say the right words, we're going to destroy you. And that's a version of
you're a stand-up comedian. You do a ridiculous amount of stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
How afraid are you that
he is?
That let's say a year from now, somebody pulls up a YouTube video of you making a joke.
Yeah.
That was on the line.
Keeps me up at night.
Well, look at Chappelle. Dave Chappelle gets up there and he tells the best joke I've ever heard in history on his last special. It is the smartest, meanest, cruelest, funniest backhand joke I've ever heard. And I don't want to spoil it, but it deals with abortion. And it's obviously something so inappropriate that you can't imagine it. And it is done so perfectly that the audience is hysterical, shocked, and blown away at the same time.
I got to tell you, I thought, I agree with you. I thought that stand-up was one of the funniest I've ever seen. I have sat and watched people say, oh no, it was just too me. It just really wasn't that funny. And I'm like, wow, see,
how perfect do you have to be?
Different things make different people laugh. And you've seen some people come in and say they didn't think it was that funny.
Yeah.
And you even like the Bill Burr one better. Yeah. And I thought it was funnier too.
Yeah.
We're talking about the same subject, and we're all talking about what we can say and what we can't say.
The difference between when Chappelle does it, Chappelle has a way of how can I say it? He's not aggressive about it. He doesn't come off an aggressive way. He comes up like he's just like discussing it.
See,
and suddenly it hits you in the face what he just said, and you're going, "Wow, that was ooh!" And then he's off to the next one. And it's like he said the most ridiculous thing, but because of his delivery, when you say Burr do it, Burr is supposed to be, I'm an aggressive guy. I'm the angry white man, and I have the right to say whatever I want. Comedy's comedy. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And yeah, I support that. I support him. I support angry black comedians. I heard Spanish, across the board. But when you start limiting comedy, then you start having problems.
What's funny is what you just said. I heard Angelique say the exact opposite. She goes, "He just seems so mean and mad about it." You're talking about Dave Chappelle, and I'm like, "Well, I didn't get that at all." But I think that's the way that Carlos felt as well.
It's because when people, and I've learned this. I think I coined a phrase. I was thinking about that today, and here's the phrase. There's a term that people use called snowflakes, and it's kind of been pushed towards.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
It was originally, I think, created by the right to make the left look like, oh, everything affects these people and they melt and all this other stuff. But I don't think I think that's a problem. I think when you do that, I really think it's bullhorns. A bullhorn just has the ability to be loud. It doesn't have the ability to record. It doesn't have the ability to understand. It doesn't have the ability to compromise. And I think we are a society of bullhorns now where we just get out and yell and we have the inability to listen. If it bothers me politically, I'm going to be mad. Like I've heard Jewish jokes and I go, oh, now I'm going to be mad. It's a Jewish joke. I'm going to be upset. Or I can say, hey, was that funny or was it not funny?
See,
Billy Crystal was the king of Jewish jokes, and I've listened to about every one of them, and you have to decide: was it said in hostility, or was it said because it's just a really good damn joke?
I always thought that when they call you a snowflake, it's because everybody thinks they're so unique because they're
going to melt in the snow. The idea is they're going to melt.
Is it they're going to melt, or is that everybody thinks they're unique because every snowflake is supposed to be unique?
It's a little bit of both.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's weak, it's fragile, and it's unique.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they think you're special.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to.
So it's a slam.
Yes.
I mean, I have a ridiculous amount of friends on Facebook because of the comic books. And I realize there are a lot of people I really shouldn't be friends with. And every once in a while I see in somebody's feed where they said, if you disagree with me, just defriend me now.
Yeah.
And I want to just say to them, listen, I'm a lawyer too, and I have to appreciate other people's arguments, whether I agree with them or not, that our whole country is based on our ability to be different and to support different things and be able to say different things. But now we're at a point where, no, you have no validity. Shut up. My opinion is right. I hate you.
Is that the post you put today on your Facebook? Yeah, because you had to delete some people or something?
I've instead of arguing with people or trying to say something, hey, listen, I don't know if that's right. You telling me that you're not going to be my friend because of my religion or my politics or something like that. I don't discuss it with you, but you're going to hate me because of a belief. And that's just not what our country's about. And it's been making me crazy that somehow we are going back in time where this group is right. This group is wrong. This group can't have an opinion. This group can't have an opinion. And social media has been just that flower of, if you disagree with me, you're not my friend anymore. And I saw this guy post this thing and 90 of his friends come back and, oh, you're so right. It's like this big butt kissing thing, likes and everything. And I was dying to say, listen, you really shouldn't do that in a country that supports, our freedoms and our beliefs. And then I said, screw it. Just defriend him.
Was it a political post? Is that what it was?
It was a post about the little girl who got up in front of the UN.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, she's absolutely right. And some people are going, well, we disagree with her.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I disagree with a 16-year-old and not get in trouble.
Who I believe is Asperger's. Was on the spectrum.
My son Jacob is on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should be making fun of somebody because they have a mental condition, which they say is a disorder. I'm going, okay, whatever. Potato.
Yeah. She's very intense, though. That girl.
But the point is that she has an opinion.
Yeah.
Now, are you allowed to have a different opinion from a 16-year-old?
Certainly.
I think everyone has a right to have a different opinion. But when you say, I can't, now, I don't think you should ever abuse somebody for their opinion. There are guys that I say who get up and they say, and I disagree with them. I don't go, well, that guy's a blank, or that guy sucks, or something else like that. I just don't agree with him. But you can't do that nowadays. Now you have to hate the person. Now you have to dump the person. Now you can't be friends with the person. And I remember some of the best relationships I've ever had in my life are with people that weren't exactly like me.
Yeah.
Where he would make a joke and I'm going, that was a bad one. Like one of my best friends in the world is named Sharam Sandi. And Sharam is Arab Indian. And Sharam likes to get at me every once in a while over Judaism. And you know what? He's my friend. Mm-hmm. I know he would take a bullet for me. I do this. And he's funny about it. We laugh and we make jokes back and forth with each other. When does it get to a point where we are no longer allowed to laugh at our differences? And I think that's what we're dealing with right now. And the Joker is the perfect synonym. This happened to me, so because I'm offended by it, The world should not get it.
Now, you do understand why Aurora wouldn't play Joker in their theater, right?
I understand that
Yeah.
it would be in bad taste for
Yeah.
this one theater.
Correct.
Now, if they decided to ban it for the whole state of Colorado,
That's ridiculous.
I mean, they had no problem playing the Manson movie.
What's the Manson movie?
Tarantino's last movie.
What was
where
that called?
Manson's walking
Once
around.
Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Manson plays a character in that movie. You think the 7 people who died plus Sharon Tate's family wanted to see this actor walking around playing this, very creative guy?
No.
No, you don't want to be reminded of the death penalty exists for one reason, so families don't have to see this guy ever again.
I hated that movie because they were goofing on Bruce Lee. That's for me. You draw the line there. You goof on Bruce Lee, you're out. Because Bruce will kick your ass. He would.
I don't really care I don't care what your politics are. In this case, there's somebody who says, listen, there are movies that deal with autism. Okay. And I don't particularly I don't like to see World War II movies. It upsets me to watch Nazis kill Jews or Nazis being the villains. I don't like being reminded of that.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Joker movie right now is it's not funny. It's not a comedy. It's not campy. It's not anything that DC has ever done.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking I'm really not going to like it, even though it's in the Batman world. I don't think it has much to do with Batman. They're obviously in Gotham City, right?
I think I'm going to be uncomfortably numb during it. I think it's going to be one of those things that he's doing things and it's causing my skin to crawl.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it because I can't turn away from it, but I have a feeling it's going to make me uncomfortable. Like, me watching Crawl with you with my fingers in my ears and hands on my face.
I would say like 3 months ago, I was excited to see it. Oh, it's going to be Joker. They're going to, and I thought maybe they were setting up for another Batman movie or something. That's not what this is. This is just about Joker, and it's about how a person basically is teased and bullied, and then he becomes a killer. And I don't know, like that,
I don't really know. I think it could be good. I think it's going to be a solid movie. It'll probably be one of those movies I can't see more than once. And sometimes some movies are so good, but they're so gritty and dark that I can only see it once.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Major League or League of Their Own or a John Hughes movie where I can.
It's not like a Forrest Gump,
Yeah, Forrest Gump or something.
Did you like or watch Schindler's List?
I couldn't watch it.
Me neither.
I couldn't watch it.
I went with Dirty Jim, and we stayed for the first 15, 20 minutes. And as soon as the kid jumped in the toilet, I'm like, I'm out of here. Couldn't watch it.
I mean, there was this. My wife takes me in this movie. It's something called Something in the Red Pajamas, and it's about these two kids. One's going in a concentration camp, and one is the son of the person who's running the concentration camp. And it is the most miserable movie. And they go, "Oh, you have to see it because it means that it helps you remember." I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. The Joker is going to be one of those movies that I think is going to be very well done. I think people are going to walk out and then go, just wow. I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight.
Will be hard to beat.
I don't remember Christian Bale in that movie.
Yeah.
I remember him. I remember him every scene, the slow clap when Jim Gordon comes in. I mean, I think of him walking down the street in the nurse's costume.
It was great.
Where he's got where he's fingering the grenades.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so good that the only thing I remember in that movie was the darkness that came off of him.
Man, last week was Batman Day. So on Batman Day, I was able to get a Batman movie in with my wife, and she hadn't seen Dark Knight Rises. I'm like, hey, let's watch that one. I forgot how much I really hated that movie. Like Bane was so bad. Oh, that stupid voice that Bane, and you couldn't understand what he was saying.
I have to make a doo-doo. I don't know. I think
that was bad.
Batman, I think you have to do this. And anytime you do that stuff, I think you limit the character's ability when you stick a big frisbee on his face.
Hey, so what's going to happen with Marvel World? Like now that that's all done, it's almost like, are there plans for any?
No, it's not done. It's huge. You have a bunch of movies back to back to back, and now this is oof. We might be the first to really get on this. I mean, the first legitimate people to get on this. Captain Marvel.
Okay.
There are some whistleblowers out there from Disney who are claiming that Captain Marvel was the numbers were skewed, that there were a lot of free tickets bought for the movie, that the merchandising didn't sell like they said it sold.
For Captain Marvel?
Yeah. And they think the character, Brie Larson's character, even though she's a fantastic actress, the character itself can come off vanilla to a big audience.
I couldn't even watch the movie. I rented it one day. I watched it for a little bit. I was bored. I turned it off. Didn't watch it. I
mean, I'm not saying that some people don't love the character, because I know some people who do. I've seen them. They cosplay the character. They love the character. The Carol Danvers character is very popular with them. I just don't know how popular it is in the Marvel world in comparison to a Captain America or a Iron Man. I don't think a Captain Marvel can carry
another whole movie.
And the Captain Marvel character is flawed to begin with. I mean, think about this in Avengers Endgame. She shows up at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
They have her literally like take out a whole spaceship by just falling through the sky through it.
Mm-hmm.
That she could have probably taken Thanos out the same way, just ground him directly into the ground, through the earth and into the sun if she wanted to. And it's a character that is possibly too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And the weakness is you're not quite sure what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, can she die? I mean, how hard do you have to hit her to knock her out? I mean, it feels like an act of God kind of character. And they don't quite know what to do with it. They don't know whether to give her a boyfriend. They don't know what a love interest. Like every character has a love interest. Batman has Catwoman, Lois Lane, Superman. Everyone has that love interest. Who is her love interest? And the fact is that it's very difficult to give her one because she is such a strong character. It's like Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. There was a weakness in that relationship. You're going, okay, well, even when she had sex with him, that was the problem with the Wonder Woman character. Could Wonder Woman have sex?
Why not?
Well, because guys get jealous. Guys don't like you sleeping with characters they want to sleep with. Oh, he slept with her. Oh, she's been tarnished.
Oh, you mean as far as fandom, as far as
as fandom goes. Do people want to see Wonder Woman having sex? They look at her as she's on this mantle of ridiculousness.
I expect her to have sex with like Steve Trevor or whatever.
But she did.
It needs to be Superman. It needs to be somebody who is high up on the superhero list.
She's super strong. You're not going to satisfy Wonder Woman as a regular person. And if you cheat on her, she's got a lasso with truth.
She will. You're done.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that funny scene when Aquaman sitting on the lasso.
I farted. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you don't have, yeah, you're right. Well, okay, so any chance then for Marvel, because I would be Team Marvel for a week or two, maybe even buy a Marvel Fantastic Four watch, because I am Fantastic Four. Yeah, I got my Joker on today. But Fantastic Four movie, is that are they
yeah, it's gonna happen.
Because they have crapped a bunch of them. I mean, a lot of them have really s the bed.
Marvel didn't have the rights to be able to do movies and television shows based on the Fantastic Four until they bought Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they own Fox, I've noticed that the Fantastic Four have been coming out in a lot of different in video games and things like that. For example, I play a game called Marvel Strike Force. And on Marvel Strike Force, they just introduced all the Fantastic Four characters. Now, that's very unusual that it took so long because they had almost every other stupid outside character other than the four of the most important characters in Marvel.
Yeah.
And I think it was delayed because the fact is that Marvel didn't have the rights, didn't want to push characters that they couldn't take to the next level. Because so now they are.
When it comes to popularity, correct me if I'm wrong, the Thing is right up there with the Incredible Hulk, right? When in the comic book world,
I don't know. Thing anytime they've tried to have the Thing have its comic book,
it's clobbering time, man. He's the man.
I think it's because he normally is not. If the Thing could change like Hulk did, where it was, he could get out of his rock formation where he was, Ben Grimm more, I think we would have liked him more. It's hard to.
Oh, see, he's always one of my favorites because
I'm not saying he's not.
He has, just like with Jolly Jane, he has the great lines.
It's clobbering time is not. That's one line.
That's a great line.
Jolly Jane has a bunch of lines.
No, but he's got a.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
Sayonara.
He doesn't just have.
No, we don't have
sayonara.
No.
He says sayonara, MNFer. No, he does. He's always had really great lines. I think that's why That's why I always like the Thing.
What I liked about the Thing is the Frankenstein character. He's misunderstood. He's sad.
Yeah.
He no matter what he does, there are people who are going to be scared of him no matter what. And I think that was the Ben Grimm character.
And he's got a love interest.
The Hulk is different. The Hulk, is fighting a duality.
Yeah.
And the truth is the Hulk is a lot more nicer and gentler person than Bruce Banner is. Bruce Banner created weapons. The Hulk is a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a whole different dynamic. And when I see people write it, I remember Bruce Banner at the end of all the Hulk television shows. At the end, he's walking away alone, or he's on the bus alone.
Yeah,
they play that sad music, and there's a sadness where you go, okay, he's one of the most powerful people in the world, but he has to suffer.
He's lonely, yeah.
And I think that's what we love about our heroes is when they have vulnerabilities, just like we do.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what's the next Marvel movie that's going to do very, very well. And I mean, so they'll have to recast people for like Thor and Captain America?
Thor is going to be he's lost his honor and lost his ability to be able to hold the hammer, and that's why it gets taken up by the woman.
Oh, so it is coming back.
Yeah,
there'll be a Thor.
There'll be a Thor. The real issue is this: it's weird they haven't done a Hulk standalone movie, and it's because they haven't done it in a long time because Universal has the distribution rights.
Yeah.
So Marvel and Disney can't distribute it. They have to cut a deal with Universal to do it, and they don't want to do it. So I think that's the reason why we don't have a Hulk movie. For those who don't know, it's because there's a contractual issue between. Now it's Disney who owns the Hulk, but before it was just with Marvel.
The first one, there was one with Ed. Oh, what's his name? Ed Norton, and another one was another guy, Bannon, something like that. No, that's his real name.
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana, yeah.
And that's a weird that killed his career, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Ooh, he was doing so well, and then that movie, and Jennifer Connelly even took a hit too on that movie.
Did you hate those movies? Because I kind of
I hated that first Hulk movie because the CGI was the world wasn't ready for it, and the story was so bad because the villain was lightning. It was this weird villain they had that was coming out of like Zanks or something like that. It was just so bad, and the fight scenes were terrible, and you just couldn't appreciate it. And the story was all over the place because it dealt with him being abused as a kid.
Yeah.
And I know they were trying to have this great emotional connection and child's getting beat. That's why the Hulk exists. Keep it simple, stupid. It's that simple. We get 90 minutes. Don't get too complicated with us. We don't have time for it. And I think that was the problem.
I'm afraid that's what I'm with the Joker. I think Joker's going to be too complicated.
I mean, he basically society steps on his face. He gets beat up. He tries to be funny. They laugh at him. They degrade him and everything else. And he goes, okay, now I have the right to kill all of you.
Yeah.
And that's if you want to get the slowest, the easiest interpretation of what the movie is from what we're seeing.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, I'm sure it's going to be a lot more complicated that he might have had this internal thing, anger that he was keeping back. But in the end, it's going to be a kind of justification for why he does what he does. And Batman's justification was, well, you killed my parents.
Killed my parents, yeah.
So I can forgive you for deciding to break laws and be a vigilante because you're doing it because you don't want anybody else's children
to go through that pain.
Any other parents to have and parents to die.
Yeah.
So that's the justification. Now, this one, his justifying for being homicidal is he was treated badly his whole life.
Right.
So that's the problem because in a way, you're saying that he's might be a little closer to a hero than he is a villain. I mean, there's the Mason-Dixon line between hero and villain.
Right.
And once you say like Wolverine, there was many times like Wolverine was a killer. He crossed that line, and now we forgive him.
Yeah.
It's not his fault that he kills people. He doesn't have to kill people, but they say, well, he goes berserk, so he can't control himself.
Yeah.
So we as
he's got a bit of an anger problem.
Yeah, he's got an anger problem, and it's the adamantium. It's a blah 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 blah. But we make excuses for that, and I think that's what people are being pissed off about the Joker movie. The people who might be angry is because they're going to wait a minute. You're going to justify killing innocent people, and there's no justification for that.
No.
But slow your roll. I mean, we put up with a lot of nonsense. I mean, Breaking Bad, it's great to be a dealer.
Right.
I mean, there's so many shows out there that glorify terrible things. Empire is about, crappy criminals making money in the music industry. Claws, we're selling drugs. I mean, every group around here, hustlers, strippers, it's great. We tend to glamorize these criminal enterprises, and we're surprised that we'll pick and choose which ones we shouldn't like.
And when do you think, well, okay, now that I go back, the anti-hero thing became popular. If you go back to Scarface, I guess, Scarface was a little bit of the anti-hero, right?
Oh, yeah.
People liked Scarface, though he was a killer. And
a drug dealer, a cocaine user.
Yeah. Was there a movie?
Because you felt he was justified because he came in as an immigrant, he was treated poorly.
Yeah.
And he wound up controlling this enterprise. And I think that's the point.
Was there a movie before that where we glorified
the Capone movies, the gangster movies?
Okay.
Yeah. See, yeah. Cagney always played that character where he's the bad guy, but we like, hey, come here, doll.
And people loved him. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Go back.
We've always had this this kind of love-hate relationship with our villains, that the better the villain, the more, the Mummy, the werewolf, we've given them reasons why they kill people, but we somehow, they're the heroes of the movie. Like the Wolfman, it's sad. He dies in the end. Oh, poor Wolfman. Wolfman killed some people. He couldn't help himself.
Well, even Frankenstein, I guess, was sort of,
and Frankenstein,
and you feel sorry for him.
Well, that Mice of Men, Lenny, we have had these historical people throughout history that have done this. I think now, slow news days, we need to be angry. This society that we're living in right now, there is profit in anger.
Mhm.
A ridiculous amount of profit. This happened. Let's get mad. Ratings go up. We sell more books. Anytime you can make a ridiculous amount of money by being angry, then you're going to pass by rational, logical conversation. You're going to go, you're a bastard. What? I was told today that I sound like somebody on Twitter, and it was when you can't argue and when you don't want to have a rational discussion, you throw names, you try to stereotype people, you try to put something. I can tell you this, because of my life and because of my education, because of all the crazy crap I do, I think I have an okay level of knowledge. And when people say that, well, you're just doing this because you're this, and you're pigeonholing me, you're saying, no, you're right wing, you're left wing, you're whatever you are. I think you make a mistake by that, because I don't think any one of us really identifies with one thing.
With one side?
Yes, I think we all have our issues. People go, well, I'm for abortion, I'm against abortion. Okay, whatever. We're all gray in some area.
Yeah.
We don't believe that an abortion should be done by somebody who's not a doctor.
No.
We could all agree. So we agree that it should be regulated, that only doctors should do it. Well, no, how dare you say that? Well, I want the safety of this person. Well, we can't do that. And in every argument we can get into, people just want to be so, no, I'm locked in here and I'm locked in here. And the world we live in isn't based like that. The jokes, when I go, there was this comedian, who's the little person? What's his name?
Brad Williams.
Brad Williams. Brad Williams gets on stage, and his comedy routine is basically based, on making fun of his life as a little person.
Right.
And he does this scene where he gets a girl out of the audience and basically does a lap dance for her.
Yeah.
And it is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And I've been hurt by comedians before, but nobody hurt me more than watching him give this girl this lap dance. And I'm questioning why I thought that was funny.
Right.
Is it funny because watching a little person do that? Or was it funny because it wouldn't have been funny if he was a full-size adult doing it?
Nope.
So am I wrong for laughing at it? Am I mean?
Well,
am I mean-spirited?
It would
for
be
laughing?
funny if he was a fat guy. If it was Ralphie May and Ralphie May does it, it's funny, right? Because you're laughing at him and his physical appearance.
I just saw a bit by Ralphie May. He was doing the other night, and he was basically, it's about people's opinions, and he was telling people, "I'll go pound sand. I'm going to say this if I want to."
Yeah,
and he was really. It felt like it was mean-spirited as he was defending his right to be able to make a joke if he wants to. But he's not wrong. If you're performing, are you a performer, or are you pushing an opinion?
Right.
Are you a politician? Are you trying to pass a law? Are you out there defending people? Or are you going, I'm going to make people laugh? I'm sure Brad Williams wasn't thinking to himself, I'm going to make everyone laugh at little people.
They're trying to sell tickets.
He's like, I'm an entertainer, and this is how I entertain people, and this is how I make my living.
Yeah.
Is there a fine line between that and maybe dwarf tossing? I don't know.
Yeah.
If the people who were doing the dwarf tossing, the little people who were doing that, didn't think it was a problem, but other little people go, no, you're degrading us.
Yeah.
Can people sell their dignity for profit? I don't know.
I do it every day.
It's self-deprecating. I watch you the other day.
I do it every day.
And you and I aren't thin people.
Yeah.
We didn't. This didn't happen overnight. And I saw you talking on the radio. I was watching your YouTube channel, and there was this thing you were talking about, fat shaming, and you were talking about being big. And sometimes I don't like when people, say it, but it might be good for me, might not be bad for me. But I think I never really well, I'll look on the YouTube channel. I'll be looking, God, what is going on here? And I noticed, we feel bad about certain things, but should I not do the YouTube channel because I don't like the way I look in a certain way? I don't know. The same way when you make a movie, you're worried about who is going to be offended by it. Not how many tickets I sell, but who am I going to be offended by? And I don't know where the line is.
Right.
And I think that line kind of moves around all the time. And it's sometimes the line is based on race. Sometimes that if I'm one of the protected classes, that I can do something that a non-protected class can do. And this isn't, I'm not saying that, white people should be mad. No, I'm saying that sometimes you get away with stuff like Jewish people make Jewish jokes. Black rappers drop the N-bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you listen to a rap,
I got nothing, man. I'm just a regular white guy.
Yeah.
Just a regular white guy.
Yeah, and it's tough.
Hey, if people want to get a hold of you for legal advice or anything legal, they can go to your website.
Yeah, they can go to bigcitycomics.com. Oh, sorry. The law stuff. That's
yeah.
when you need us.
Whenyouneedus.com. That's when you need us. Whenyouneedus.com. And what's really great about that is if you have not ever done a will, you can do your will for free when you go to whenyouneedus.com. And as a matter of fact, I did that, and you just had to get it notarized and everything.
Yeah, that's my Matt Murdock part of my personality.
Yeah,
so
right. Right.
Yeah.
Matt Murdock. That's a daredevil drop.
That's a daredevil
but
drop.
For the comic book stuff, any graphic novel,
Big City Comics.
BigCityComics.com.
And we're in New York next week. We are not doing the podcast.
Okay, yeah, you'll be in New York.
I will be on the floor at New York Comic-Con setting up right next to Lego.
With a new issue of Dollar Jane?
We are going to have the New York versions of issues 1 through 4.
Very good. Are we ever going to put 1 through 4 together so it's one whole graphic novel? Okay, good.
We're going to do that when we put the Kickstarter together for issues for the next group. That's going to be in the it's going to be a gift package. So people who didn't get it will be able to get like issues 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever with the trade.
Very good. Hey, we appreciate you guys listening so much. It's your cue. You got now you got to say
enjoy our nonsense.
There you go. Thanks, Ryan. All right. See you. Perfect.
Somebody.
Hold on.